Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, we love taking these deep dives, and today we're going all the way back to ancient Greece to explore the origin story of the Olympian gods, from their chaotic beginnings all the way to their rise to power. Our source material this time is an ancient text detailing the family drama and power struggles that actually shaped the cosmos. Get ready to uncover shocking betrayals, epic battles, and monstrous creatures that would make even the bravest hero tremble.
It's fascinating, really. You know, the story doesn't actually begin with gods and goddesses and shining armor or anything like that. Instead, try to picture this: a swirling, formless void where everything is just mixed together, you know, kind of like a primordial soup. And from this emerges Gaia, the earth, and then she gives birth to Uranus, the sky.
So they're like the ultimate power couple, the original king and queen. But I'm guessing things get a little messy.
To say the least. Our source describes Uranus as becoming a tyrant, fearing his own children, the powerful Titans. So what does he do? He imprisons them within Gaia, essentially stuffing them back into her womb. Can you imagine the agony? Not just the physical agony, but the emotional turmoil of a mother forced to contain her own offspring.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. She's literally carrying the weight of the world and her imprisoned children.
Exactly. This really sets the stage for one of the most dramatic power struggles in all of mythology. Gaia, desperate for liberation, turns to her youngest son Cronus and urges him to rise up against Uranus, whispering promises of power and revenge.
It's like a potent mix, a mother's anguish and a son's ambition, fueling a rebellion that will shake the very foundations of the universe. And our source actually describes Gaia giving Cronus a diamond sickle. This weapon that's as beautiful as it is deadly. It just paints this picture of a clandestine meeting, Gaia's desperation, and Cronus' growing ambition.
Yeah, and the text doesn't shy away from the violence of the act at all. It describes Cronus ambushing Uranus as he sleeps, that swift, brutal severing, Uranus's blood staining the sky, this fiery red. It's a graphic image. But it really captures the sheer force of this rebellion, this overthrowing of the old order.
So Cronus wins, frees his siblings, and he takes power. Sounds like a victory. But knowing Greek mythology, I'm guessing it's not that simple.
You're right. Uranus, as he falls, utters a chilling prophecy. He curses Cronus, foretelling his own downfall at the hands of his child. And it's this curse that hangs over Cronus's reign, turning him into a paranoid tyrant, even more so than Uranus. He becomes obsessed with maintaining control, famously declaring, "Here it's like this, I command, and no one else."
Wow. And what's really striking is that despite all this turmoil among the gods, this period is known as the Golden Age of Man. Humans on Earth experience peace and abundance, while the heavens are in chaos.
Makes you wonder, right? What did the ancient Greeks believe about the relationship between the divine and the human? Was this Golden Age just a mere coincidence? Or was it somehow connected to the turmoil among the gods?
It's a great question. But Cronus' fear of the prophecy ultimately leads him down a dark path. He starts devouring his own children to prevent them from challenging his rule.
Yeah, it's a brutal act, but also a desperate one. It really highlights the cyclical nature of power and the anxieties that come with it. Cronus, despite overthrowing a tyrant, becomes a tyrant himself, driven by the same fear that consumed his father. And the story seems to suggest that power, even when obtained through righteous rebellion, can corrupt and lead to terrible acts.
Rhea, Cronus' wife. Imagine the horror of watching your husband consume your children, one after another.
It's a testament to her strength, that she refuses to be a passive observer. When she becomes pregnant with Zeus, she devises a plan to save him. She gives birth in secret on the island of Crete and presents Cronus with a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes.
So Cronus swallows a rock, thinking it's his son. I mean, it's almost comical.
Yeah.
But also a chilling reminder of his paranoia.
Right. The text doesn't dwell on Cronus' reaction, but it does describe Zeus being whisked away to safety, raised by nymphs, and educated by a magical eagle. It's a fascinating shift in tone. We move from this brutal, almost Shakespearean drama to a more mythical, fantastical setting.
Yeah, it's like the hero's journey is about to begin. Zeus hidden away, learning and growing, preparing for the inevitable confrontation with his father.
And confront his father he does. Zeus, now a powerful god, decides to claim his rightful place among the gods. But first, he needs to free his siblings from their rather uncomfortable confinement.
Right. So we have Zeus, the hero of our story, ready to take on the tyrant Cronus. But how do you convince someone to, well, unswallow their children?
Well, our source tells us that Zeus enlists the help of Oceanus, a titan, who's sympathetic to his cause. Together they concoct this potent potion, disguised as a rare nectar, Cronus, always a sucker for luxury, readily drinks it down.
I'm guessing this wasn't just a refreshing beverage. What happened next?
Let's just say the reunion is far from heartwarming. The text uses some pretty vivid language to describe Cronus's rather forceful expulsion of his children, along with those unfortunate stones Rhea had used as decoys. It's a chaotic, visceral scene highlighting Zeus's cunning and Cronus's ultimate humiliation.
So the Olympian siblings are finally reunited, but I can't imagine this was a happy family dinner. What was Cronus's reaction to being outsmarted by his own son?
Fury, of course. He rallies his Titan allies, and we enter the epic clash, known as the Titanomachy, the war between the Titans and the Olympians. The text doesn't just describe battles. It paints this picture of cosmic upheaval. Mountains crumble, the sea boils, the sky itself cracks with the force of their conflict.
It sounds terrifying, but also incredibly exciting. Where did the Olympians set up their base for this epic showdown?
Mount Olympus, naturally, this majestic peak, reaching towards the heavens. It becomes the symbol of their ambition and their challenge to the old order.
Makes sense. So who are some of the key players in this war? There's got to be more than just Zeus versus Cronus, right?
Absolutely. On the Titan side, we have Atlas. A figure whose name has become synonymous with bearing burdens. He leads the charge against the Olympians with incredible strength and ferocity.
I'm sensing some foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
But tell me who's backing up Zeus on the Olympian side? We know Poseidon and Hades are involved.
Yeah.
Are there any surprises?
Yeah. Zeus, realizing the strength of the Titans, makes a daring move. He ventures into Tartarus, the deepest pit of the underworld, and frees the Cyclops, those skilled craftsmen Uranus had imprisoned.
That's a risky move. Releasing powerful beings from the underworld. What was Zeus thinking?
He's playing the long game. The Cyclops, grateful for their freedom, forge powerful weapons for the Olympians. Zeus receives his iconic thunderbolts, weapons of pure energy and awe. Poseidon gets his mighty trident, capable of shaking the earth and controlling the seas. And Hades, well, he gets a helmet of invisibility, which is perhaps more fitting for the ruler of the underworld.
Sounds like Zeus is assembling a pretty formidable team. But this Titanomachy wasn't a quick battle, was it?
No. Our source describes it as a grueling war, lasting 10 long years. Imagine a decade of constant earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and storms. As these divine beings clash, it's a testament to the ancient Greeks' understanding of nature's power and their ability to weave it into their myths.
10 years. That's longer than most modern wars.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Olympians may have struggled at times.
Oh, they did. The Titans were powerful adversaries, but then Zeus unleashes his secret weapon. Remember those hecatoncheires, the 100-handed giants guarding Tartarus?
Oh yeah, those guys. Not exactly who you want to run into on a bad day.
Imagine these behemoths, each with 100 arms, flinging boulders, creating chaos on the battlefield. It's a turning point in the war. The Titans, overwhelmed and demoralized, are finally defeated. Cronus falls, and Zeus claims victory, becoming the ruler of the cosmos.
Victory for the Olympians. But what happens to the Titans? Are they completely obliterated?
Zeus, perhaps showing more mercy than his predecessors, imprisons most of the Titans in Tartarus, with the hecatoncheires as their guards. But for Atlas, the leader of the Titans, Zeus has a special punishment.
I think I know where this is going. He gets the hold up the sky for all eternity treatment, right?
Exactly. The source depicts Atlas condemned to bear the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, a powerful image of defeat and eternal punishment. But it also makes you think, is there a deeper meaning here? Is Atlas also shouldering the responsibility for the Titans' rebellion, a burden he must carry forever?
It's a good question. So the Olympians have won. The Titans are imprisoned, and Zeus is on the throne. But we know this isn't the end of the story. There's someone else who's not too happy with this outcome.
You're right. Remember Gaia, the Earth Mother who instigated this whole chain of events? Well, she's not exactly thrilled about her Titan children being locked away in Tartarus, and she's about to unleash her fury in a way that will test even Zeus's newfound power.
A mother's love can be fierce, especially when it comes to protecting her children. What does the Gaia have in store for Zeus and the Olympians? Gaia, the primordial Earth Mother. She isn't one to forgive and forget. She's about to unleash her fury on Zeus and the Olympians for imprisoning her children. So what does she have planned? Another epic battle.
Oh, she's got something even bigger in mind. Gaia's revenge takes a monstrous form. Our source tells us she creates Typhon, a creature so terrifying, so immense, that he makes the Titans look like playful puppies. Imagine this, a being with multiple heads, each with fiery eyes, and a voice that echoes like the roars of 100 beasts.
Wow. The ancient Greeks really knew how to create terrifying monsters.
Yeah.
But what's Typhon's purpose? What is Gaia hoping to achieve?
Typhon's sole purpose is destruction. He is the embodiment of chaos, meant to dismantle the order that Zeus has so carefully established. He's Gaia's ultimate weapon, a force of nature, designed to bring the Olympian reign crashing down.
And how do the Olympians react when they see this monstrous being approaching Mount Olympus? I mean, they just won a massive war. Are they ready for round two?
You would think so, right? But our source describes a scene of sheer panic. The gods, they're terrified. They flee Mount Olympus, disguising themselves as animals to escape Typhon's wrath.
Wait, the mighty Olympians running away in fear, disguised as animals. That's not exactly the heroic image we're used to. I mean, can you picture Zeus, the king of the gods, transformed into a terrified little field mouse?
Yeah, it's a reminder that even the most powerful beings have their limits. Typhon represents a primal force that shakes them to their core. It's a fascinating twist, showing that even in mythology, there are forces that can challenge the established order, even the gods themselves.
So everyone runs, except for Zeus, of course. He's not one to back down from a challenge. So how does this ultimate showdown unfold?
Zeus, ever the warrior, stands his ground. The text depicts a battle unlike any other, a clash between order and chaos, between the ruler of the cosmos and this force of primordial destruction. It's a fight for the ages.
The source mentions Zeus using everything at his disposal, his thunderbolts, even mimicking the voice of Cronus, to try and disorient Typhon.
Yeah, he pulls out all the stops. But Typhon is simply too powerful. He overpowers Zeus, disarms him, and in a shocking turn of events, tears out Zeus's tendons.
Ouch. That sounds incredibly painful. So Zeus is defeated. Is this the end of the Olympian reign?
It certainly seems that way. Typhon takes Zeus's tendons and gives them to Delphine, this monstrous serpent-like creature, to guard. Zeus is left powerless and imprisoned. It seems Gaia's plan for revenge is working.
But we know Zeus ultimately prevails. How does he manage to escape this desperate situation?
Well, this is where the story takes another interesting turn. Hermes, the cunning messenger god, and Pan, the god of the wild, come to Zeus's rescue.
Hermes, I can see being a bit of a trickster, maybe sneaking around, outsmarting Delphine. But Pan, the god of the wild, what role does he play?
Pan's role is crucial. He uses his wild music, his connection to the primal forces of nature, to distract Delphine. It's like he's tapping into the very essence of chaos, to combat chaos itself. This allows Hermes to swoop in and steal back Zeus's tendons.
So it's a combination of cunning and a bit of wild magic. That saves the day. Zeus is back in action, tendons restored, ready for round two with Typhon. So how does this rematch go?
This time Zeus is prepared. He has learned from his previous encounter, and he receives help from an unexpected source, the Moirai, the three fates. They trick Typhon into eating poisoned fruit, weakening him for the final confrontation.
Those fates. Always up to something, aren't they? But their intervention gives Zeus the upper hand. So how does he finally defeat Typhon?
The source describes Zeus unleashing his most powerful thunderbolt, a bolt of pure celestial energy, striking Typhon down and ending his reign of terror. And to ensure Typhon can never rise again, Zeus imprisons him beneath Mount Etna, the Sicilian volcano.
Ah, so that's why Mount Etna is so active. It's Typhon trapped beneath the earth, still raging and spewing fire. It's amazing how the ancient Greeks used mythology to explain natural phenomena.
It's a brilliant way to connect the mythical world with the real world, making these stories feel even more tangible and relevant.
So we've journeyed from primordial chaos through a series of power struggles and epic battles to the final establishment of the Olympian gods. It's been quite a ride. So from your perspective, what are some of the key takeaways from this origin story?
Well, what really strikes me is the cyclical nature of power. Each generation of gods overthrows the previous one, yet they often repeat the same mistakes. Uranus fears his children and imprisons them. Cronus fears his children and devours them. Even Zeus, despite his best intentions, ends up imprisoning his enemies in Tartarus. It makes you wonder if power inevitably leads to a fear of losing it.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale, reminding us that power can be a corrupting force, even for those who start with noble intentions.
And then there's the role of fate and free will. The gods are often bound by prophecy, yet they also make choices that shape their destinies. It's like a cosmic dance between predetermination and agency.
It's a question that has haunted humanity for centuries. How much control do we really have over our lives? The story of the Olympian gods doesn't give us a definitive answer, but it certainly gives us plenty to think about.
Absolutely. And remember, this is just the beginning. The world of Greek mythology is vast, filled with captivating stories and complex characters. If this deep dive has sparked your interest, I encourage you to explore further.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We journeyed through the turbulent origins of the Olympian gods, from their chaotic beginnings to their hard-won victory. We encountered fearsome creatures, witnessed epic battles, and explored the complex dynamics of power and fate. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around us.